everybody. You might not know me. My name is Rick, and I'm the creator of Just a Mile a Day. So I'm going to go ahead and tell the story about how Just a Mile a Day even got started and where we are at today. It's kind of a crazy amount of stuff that I keep behind the scenes, so I'm excited to share it with you on what was really going on and how this even came to be a thing. So I guess I'll start off at the beginning. When I worked at Verizon, I would transfer people's contacts and I would help people get things set up for their phones, transfer photos, things like that. And I remember, and you can ask every boss that I ever had, that I always went against the grain. I always pushed the envelope. I always would make bosses uncomfortable because I never really fully fit in with like the corporate environment or with following the rules, I guess you could say. And so I was always trying to do things in a different way, and I knew I was different. And it led me to, I remember watching a video from Mark Anthony Eze.
One of my favorite stories is about a man. Now this man is walking down a path and finds an egg, an eagle's egg. He takes this egg and puts it into the nest of a backyard hen. Pretty soon, the eagle hatches with the chicks and grows up with them. Now, all his life, that eagle did what the chickens did. He would poke around in the dirt looking for worms and insects to eat. He would fly a few feet into the air like chickens do, and he'd cluck around. And as time passed, that eagle, he grew very old. And one day, he saw something above him. This thing, it glided gracefully and majestically through the clouds. "What's that?" the eagle says. "Oh, that's an eagle," one chicken responds. "He is the king of all birds, the master of the skies. But we belong to the ground because we are just chickens. Don't worry about him. You will never be that." And that eagle lived and died a chicken because that is what he thought he was.
Video kind of resonated with me, and so I remember at that time I was still writing my book. That's Everything is a Choice. So this is finished now, which I'm very proud of. But at the time it was definitely not. I was still just working my shift, which would be anywhere from 8 in the morning to 8 at night, and so I understood everybody's struggles. And I know that when I watched that, I was like, I don't feel like I fit in here. I feel like I have a bigger wingspan than some people do, and I'm not flying at all. I'm not even getting off the ground very high. So it leads me to a contest that they had at Verizon, and this kind of leads me up to a point where people hit a rock bottom point. And I remember in this contest, it was a contest from Google, and if you were one of the top 2 people in a region, you got an all expenses paid trip to California. Well, at the end of this competition, I wasn't just top 2 in the region, I was top 1 in the company, and that's out of 22,000 people. So I felt pretty good about myself because I'd done something that 22,000 people who also do this couldn't have done the way I did it. But they ended up pulling some technicality out of it and made it so they could, like, something that was an uncontrollable factor for me was the reason they said, you don't win, somebody else is going to be taking your spot. And I got pretty upset about that because I broke all these records as far as what people were doing. I had hit the main goals on every single way except for this one thing that was an uncontrollable. And I got frustrated. I got mad. I was so mad. I left work that day just knowing that I wasn't feeling good. And I called a friend of mine, and I remember they told me, they said, "Wait a second. Out of 22,000 people, you were the number 1 person?" It's like, "Yeah." And they're like, "You're an idiot. You're a chump." And I said, "Well, thanks for the support." They said to me, "If you can do that out of 22,000 people and you can be number 1, imagine if you did that for yourself instead of making somebody else millions of dollars." I said, "You're right. I need to wake up." So that day, a fire got lit underneath me, and I still have the email where they posted, they just did a mass email that said that you just don't win. Just didn't even call me. They just sent it out in a big group to say you're just not the guy today. It was brutal. And so I remember I went home that day and I called my buddy Will. That's Dr. Orrin Cox, and I had a fire under me. That up to that point, my book had only been about 3/4 of the way done. I finished it within the month, and I called him, and he's a PhD in transformational psychology and also in like depression, grief counseling, that kind of stuff, and he's really, really good at it. I told him I want him to take a look at the book and see what his opinion is of it, and he told me probably the sweetest thing that I'd heard, that he read the whole thing and he said, "This is really good. I don't think there's anything I would add to this." So of course I was like, "You're full of shit. You're a PhD in this. I need you to go ahead and do something that makes this a little bit better or connects to people in a different way." And he said, "All right, I'll see what I can do." Fast forward, we got the book finished now, as you saw, and that's something that I want to be able to share with people about how everything is choices. But that's a big part of what I was working on at the time. But then it came at that point too, where with Just a Mile a Day, I wanted to help people like really get started. At the time, I wasn't on any social media. I didn't do anything on it because social media really just caused problems. So I didn't know how to use Facebook, didn't know how to use Instagram, I didn't know any of that stuff. And so at that time, that's when a customer came into the store, and you guys who are in the group know who Andrea is. She and I hit it off because she was in her own journey with Tony Robbins and personal development and growth. And from there, we kind of pushed each other to get better. So I pushed her in her health realm, and she became one of my clients for health coaching, which I got certified in. And then also she helped me with the social media aspect, which I was not familiar with. So from that point, we started building up Just a Mile a Day, and it only had the concept to it where whenever I would train people, if I told you to do 20 minutes or 30 minutes or an hour of cardio, everybody was miserable, and then people would burn out and everyone would stop. It's the same concept as a New Year's Eve resolution where people say, "I'm going to do better, I'm going to do better, I'm going to do better," and they go and they just push themselves way harder than they needed to, and then they burn themselves out, and then they stop within a week to a month. And it's something I was noticing the pattern of, and I wanted to try to stop. So when I would tell people to do 20 minutes, it was miserable. But if I told you just get this mile done, and as fast as you go is how long it takes, people started doing better. If you don't like doing your mile, just go faster. It's done sooner. So people would start doing better, and I realized positive results, positive habit change. It felt achievable. People could do it, and that felt good. So I said, let's try this on a bigger scale. So we just made a group, and this group started off just for fun. I wanted to just get some people just started to have a good time with it. And that's about the time when I decided, you know what, let's make a logo for this thing. And, you know, for those of you who have been in the group from the beginning, it was really basic when we started off. The logo, which looked like the one symbol, and I made it in like 10 minutes. And so we made shirts for it, and I had people who were wearing it, and I was really excited. I remember it was the first time I ever had any type of a brand or anything that would represent something I was working on, and I was very excited about it. And we had fun pictures, and we'd do funny videos and things like that, and I had people like Remy or Andrea. There'd be people who would all wear this stuff, and it was fun. I had a good time with that. And then it came down to where the logo comes from now, and that's when my really good friend Nisa Grayson, she owns Blue Gray. She does branding, and she's amazing at it. She's so good, and she's one of my good friends. And she's like, "I'm going to help you out because we're such good friends. I can't have you walking around with this logo the way it is." And I was like, "What's wrong with my logo?" She's like, "What the heck does it even mean? What is that?" And so that's where the J came from. That's where the Just a Mile a Day. All of this came from her, and I'm very thankful for her. So thank you very much for that. And we finally had a brand that we could stand behind, something that we could like stand on. And it was exciting because we started seeing the culture coming together, started seeing people cheering each other on and building each other up, pushing their own limits, getting new achievements for themselves. And that's when we came up with the idea that we needed to share with more people, and we created a growth day. And growth day was really just add all your friends. Just add everybody in the group, let people drop out, let people stay. But really just giving people a chance to be able to be a part of our encouragement group. And not a lot of people were getting recognition in their everyday life, so I felt this could be a cool way that we could make awards or make prizes or give gear or doing just fun things to make it so people would feel good about doing what they should be doing anyways, which is just a little bit of improvement every single day. So I was excited for the culture to keep moving forward, and we started seeing people having very, very cool achievements happening. Streaks started coming into play, which was keeping accountability to people from missing their days. And as it started getting bigger, I remember, we only had a couple hundred people, but we made a Self-Yee challenge, and Remy Coles made a joke with my last name. Started calling selfies Self-Yees because I would take a picture every single time that I would do my mile to post it up to show people like, hey, I got mine, did you get yours? So we came up with a 30-day Self-Yee challenge. And at that point, when we had maybe 300 people or so in there. And within that month, I remember it growing from like 300 to almost 1,100. Just people trying to jump in and do like a Self-Yee challenge, 30 days. Can you take a funny picture of yourself and show that you did your mile? And it really started having fun. And the culture started changing, the things started getting better. And I remember as it kept growing and kept growing, we had the Mirrorvational shirts came out, and those are the ones where they read correctly in the mirror, but they read backwards normally, which I love those. Those are very cool, and we're going to be having those coming out soon again. Then also, we've got the Just a Mile a Day gear, which is very cool too, and I'm so excited to have that stuff out. We got way cooler things in the works right now than we had before, so I'm very excited for our next step on things. But as far as that went, we now had our stuff moving, and I decided this is what I'm going to do. I think that my Jam Fam, which is our Just a Mile a Day family, our Jam Fam is something that I believe in enough that I'm going to devote myself to. And so I quit my job. I quit my job to build this. That was a daring move. And so I remember setting up for this. I walked into work wearing all of my Just a Mile a Day stuff. And I remember walking in, listening to Here I Go Again on My Own. Walking in. Here I go again on my own. Going down the only road. That's how I make my exit. Just jamming it out. And it was a little lackluster because people were like, what are you doing here? Like, we know it's your last day. And I was just being theatrical, I guess, but it was a little lackluster on that one. So, quit my job though, left there, and started going to adventure out to some of you guys. And I've gotten to do miles with you guys and meet you, and I've gone across the country to say hey to certain people and be able to do my miles with you, and it's been pretty fun. But now, I think we've broken over 4,000 people already, and I think that is the beginning. This is just the beginning of what we got. So behind the scenes right now, I work on a lot of stuff, and I'm sure it's gonna be funny to see this video dated within the next few months. But right now, I'm working on the Just a Mile a Day full package, which is going to be a membership that I want to put together so I can actually give prizes and make things better and give better incentives and give discounts off of gear and give access to my book, give information and new videos all the time. I created a workout plan that I have done myself over the last year and a half. Here's a picture of my transformation that I've gone through up to date right now. And this is just doing my program, and I can't wait for this to come out soon because I want people to understand that you don't have to start off spending thousands of dollars to get going. If you're at the very beginning, that's what this is going to be. It's going to be the people who are 100 pounds overweight or have tried everything and nothing works. And it's going to be the spot that people start, and that's going to be why I want awareness on this, is there's not a lot of things out there to help people begin. Everybody wants to have results, but they don't want to do the first steps to get there. Everybody wants to go straight to marathon when they haven't run in years, and they just get burnt out within the first few miles. And it's just life. It's how we are. We want instant gratification, but there's got to be a beginning. And then with all of the focus I've done with my book on how everything is choices, and then all the way to my health coaching, you understand that everything is really just habits. And if you can change those habits, it changes the results of what you have. And so I focus very heavily on working on the habit change and the mindset change to make it so the body changes. And by being able to have this program come out, it's going to make things so much more fun. We're going to have our app. We're going to have very, very cool things to make it so people can all have teams and challenges and prizes and money. Like, there's going to be a lot of cool stuff that we can do for each other, and I'm really excited about this coming out. The next thing that's going to come out too is going to be my Jam the Excuses program. I'm very proud of this because this is going to be that one-on-one part. This will be the thing where if you're having trouble, whether it be diet or whether it be doing the workouts or understanding the mindset or overcoming major challenges or having excuses that hold you back, we're going to have one-on-one direct coaching. And that's going to make it so you can personalize your own experience by fast forwarding all the things you'd have to learn by 20, 30 years of people's experience jumping in for you. And that's pretty invaluable. That's the stuff that people who work with me directly, they've seen major results. People have lost 90, over 100 pounds very, very quickly. And that's going to be a very cool program. I'm looking forward to that, and that's going to be a big deal. So those are things that I'm working on in the background. We also changed our company over because the company for shirts that we were working with, they started doing something with the shipping that was charging per item very, very expensively. And I started feeling terrible that people would buy gear because they wanted to represent what we stood for. And they were getting price gouged, like $40 in shipping just for one package. And I started feeling that that's not the right thing to do. And so I went away from that company. We have a whole new thing now. We're getting that going now. And there's a lot of stuff that gets messed up in the background. What people don't know is like pretty much all the things that I've done, I've screwed up in one way or another. A couple of examples, even this video, shot the whole thing yesterday and I just erased all the sound last night after I worked on it all day. I just screw up all the time. And it's really just like Will Smith says, where I'm always falling forward. So I mess up all the time. And it's all right because it's all for you guys. It makes it so that it helps everybody else get better by me making these mistakes forward. And so what you don't know is all the videos that I make, I shoot them just like this. All the editing I'm doing on my own right now until I can afford to hire somebody to do so. But there's going to be a lot of very neat things that are coming in the future to make this thing really fun. I'm going to make things like Cheerleader of the Month one of the bigger prizes we can do because I love the encouragement factor of what this is. Which I guess leads me to the point of why is all of this? Like, what does this mean? Why do we have this? And what the J means to me and what this really stands for me is really understanding the self-improvement aspect of what we are. And I don't mean it to be all like flowers and butterflies and everything's happy. We got to go through a lot of shit in our days. We get blasted on left and right. And life doesn't care. Life doesn't care about what it is that you've got planned. Life does its own thing. And so being able to have a place where you can be recognized for doing things that most people aren't recognized for, to be able to be cheered on or have people care about what's going on with you is a very rare thing in some of these days. We're all very detached. And so to have a group of people that are even strangers who go, I believe in you, or I'm cheering you on, or you inspire me, this is a very unique place that we have here. And so this J means a lot to me. It means hope. You know, that people can get started and not feel judged and not feel embarrassed or uncomfortable, you know, and there's a lot of really great programs out there that are sometimes too hard for people to begin. And I understand people challenging mindset, which I fully endorse, but if you could have a spot where you can build up and feel confident the entire time, all the way up to that level where you could join, you know, a CrossFit gym or join a boot camp or go to a gym itself or even do P90X or Insanity, some of these really great programs that are sometimes too hard for somebody who's just beginning after years. And so I get the mindset they say about that, but I'd love to have a place where you just feel good. And to say my program is, you know, just a stepping stone, it's a good beginning, but you can stay in this and feel totally comfortable and actually feel good and get good results the entire time. Just to be very clear, just a mile a day is not the thing that's set up for, like, if you're trying to be an Olympian or if you're trying to be a bodybuilder. This is for the people who are regular people who just want to have more energy for their kids, just want to live longer for their family, want to feel healthier in their day, want to go up the stairs without breathing heavily, like the real life stuff. And it makes me proud to see some of the results people are having, everything from Ben in a wheelchair to Chris with a walker, people rehabilitating themselves. There's a lot of amazing people in our group, and I'm really proud of everybody, like really proud. And so I'm thankful to have this Jam Fam. I'm thankful to have all of you guys in the group. And it makes a big difference to be able to like have the support system that we all give each other, because there isn't a lot of things out there like that. And that makes me proud. So in closing on this thing, I just want to say thank you to everybody fully. Like sincerely, from the bottom of my heart, thank you. Just a mile a day isn't anything without everybody else. If we're not all banded together and we're not looking out for each other and we're not pushing each other or challenging or encouraging or supporting, representing the brand and what we are, because just a mile a day goes against our excuses. We go against all the bullshit in the day that tries to stop us or push us down, because there's a lot. And if we can wear this in defiance of saying, I'm not going to stop. I'm going to continue on my road of improvement. I'm going to continue taking this road to be better than I was yesterday, to be more than my former self. That makes me feel good. So thank you all for this. If you've made it this far in the video, I am extremely impressed. Most people only have maybe a 2-minute attention span. So I want to say thank you guys again. And just share with everybody. Just get out there and just tell everybody. If you've got your friends list, just throw everybody in the group. I love the people in the group who can't even participate in Growth Day anymore because they're like, all my friends are either joined in already or telling me to stop adding them. And I love that so much, because it gives people a chance to know what we are and start their own journey. So for those of you guys who have watched this and you haven't joined the group, we have it on Facebook, or you can also go onto justamileaday.com. That makes it so you can join the group or check out the gear, check out our new membership stuff that's coming out. Probably within the next couple of months, this video will be a little dated, and I'm very proud about that too. So thank you guys for watching it. That's a little bit of the story of where Just a Mile a Day came from, what we are, what we've gone through. And so if you haven't done it today, get off the jam couch. Do the jam thing.